with public resources that can impact the lives of the citizens. That is why we thank His Excellency the President for the support he has given the Mansa Kunda since its inception. Today also is a special day. We are launching a new magazine called the Mansa Kunda magazine. Thank you, Department of Information Services, for creating this magazine, which is also geared towards promoting proactive disclosure, also bridging the gap between the public and the citizens insofar as information is concerned. So today, the agenda is like this. After my presentation, I'll allow the launch of the Mansa Kunda magazine, and we'll allow Mr. Bramanjai, Deputy Director of DOIS, to give a brief speech, after which I will officially launch the magazine. Then we will allow the Honorable Minister, we'll give him 5 minutes to introduce his team. Today you will speak less, but you'll answer more questions. After that, we'll do the presentation of the Yoruba documentary series, which will take 15 to 20 minutes, after which we go straight to Q&A. Mbadingol mbal tentula mbal jayla mbal jiala nabi Mansa Kunda mi alon ko president of fongalen sasi ako nga commencé isaje filo mi alon ko banku ngol ni Mansa Kunda tima asibo isaje ko banku di Mansa Kunda be ko to banku ngol sa kalamuta Mansa Kunda la ferol anin koko mi alon ko afso banku ngol sa kalamuta bari fana banku ngol la wasio ila miro ila koleada anin fengo fami alon ko baro Mansa Kunda fana sa kalamuta wala nga nyim Mansa Kunda ta nga commencé loku fulaw lokum fulan ka minister commandi akana anala timo e kanani banko dingo kasi kakcha bajande be jamfala mil bi jambi be banko dingo be kontonna His Excellency the President ba kontonna anala dimbal be ni Mansa Kunda molbe minister mil bi jang ngaje sa Minister of Digital Economy nata bi jang ba fanan kontonna ba tentula ba jeyla Deputy Chief of Staff fanam bi janne aning ambassador mi alon ko wolle bota embassy to mil nata jang ngaje ko French ambassador bi janne Turkish ambassador bi janne afanang ani UNDP la nyaton ko fanam bi janne aning ambassador mi alon ko wolle fanam bi jang ani Mansa Kunda do ko lalbe mi alon ko le bi jambi ani na partner solbe bedo nga mokku masor jambake e ka fo mi Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports minister mi alon ko ate malta funding kel la bundala funding kel don ko mata bake bankun kan am president ka fo ko bi funding kel on samala alfalti ro koko ngake mi alon ko pour funding kel la na falon banko la na falon odo bing hodo ministre Bakary Badji ala timo be binabi kana poyni banko dingol sikacha kafu banko dingol le ila secteur e baborindi ka nyaadi le abe funding ken nafa ka nyaadi le anna kumata bawo Mansa Kunda ete koddo la funding ke kodo dila bar Mansa Kunda kamin ke ko barola Mansa Kunda ba ka nyamolon kaje ko nga dulal yiru wande dulal mi alon ko si funding ke karandi meccola ngidi may karaye mecco karang isaje fan nafa e banko nafa bari fanang isiru wa fenam bankun kan wala ala minister kumata bake anumbi ko nga fonya men Mansa Kunda ate kala ko la se Mansa Kunda nga kalamata ko minister ka diambale miniti muang nim pata ngata nyin karo la bari bi nga documenti la soto mi alon ko nga woleta minister la sectoto ngo fe mi alon ko ni Mansa Kunda do ku ka 2017 fosany mbaje la video tole isaje al salom munebe keni bawo ni nga fo mol sa fo ko mebi me kumola politiko la bari ni aje nyala documentary to ibalna ko tonya do ko keda nyin sector tole woto mbe wole follow play la miniti muang nim parta ngana nyin karola molsi minister nyin ka question la woto mba tentula mba jala hondo minister ene la timo mobe mbe tentula mbe jala mba jala Mansa Kunda na partner sol fana mialon ko wolle mbulomuta kan dandang Mansa Kunda season 2 to mbe tentula mbe jala mbokay di len dalal si Mansa Kunda season 2 mo ñaareli pancabi yegon ngeen ne at bu passé ni defoon nañ Mansa Kunda mi nga xam ne sok si doon na ministre yëpp a ñëwoon nag mooy ñaari fukk ak ñetti ministère yëpp ñëwoon nañ jàkkaarloo askan bi ak vice président bi moo season 2 bi nag kon di leen dalal si season 2 bi nga xam ne moom la ñu commencé tey ak ministre of youth and sports honorable Bakary Badji di dalal suñ gan yi nag ñi nga xam ne ñoo fi nekk tey ministre yu fi nekk ak ñi nga xam ne mooy government official si ak suñ diplomate yi nga xam ne ñoo ñëw teewu fii te ak students yi fi ñëw yëpp jógee MDA University of the Gambia ak university yëpp ak ndaw ñu fi teewu te ak media bi yëpp ñu ngi leen a dalal bu baax a baax di dalal ñi nga xam ne nag ñoo seetaan si kër gi si télé bi xam nañ ne fu mu toll ni télé boo tuunin Gambia rek Mansa Kunda bi nga jot kon di gërëm ñi nga xam ne moom ñooy media bi ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi ànd ak ñun te nag Mansa Kunda bi am na solo parce que te ministre bi nga xam ne moom moo amee njawri ni ndaw yi ak tàggat yaram bi mooy honorable ministre Bakary Badji moom lañ am tey ñëpp xam nañ ne Gambia tey ndaw yi ñoo fi gën a uppa kon lépp lu waa di def lépp lu nguur gi di def si ndaw yi nga ko defal te président His Excellency daf ñu sas leena mu ne ñu jàppale ndaw yi parce que ndaw yi ñooy kilifay ëllëg waaye ndaw nag jàppale ko du jox ko xaalis bés bu ne parce que kenn mënu ko benn nguur mënu ko waaye looy def mooy nga dooleel leen jàngaleen métier ibi ay place ñi nga xam ne foofu la ñu demee jànga métier wala jànga xam-xam suba ñu mën a njëriñ seen boppa waaye tamit njëriñ seen réew loolu moo de ici jëm kanam si réew honorable ministre ñu ngi laa gërëm di la sant bu baax a baax nuñ ko daan defee nag bi yoon duñ ko defee noonu nuñ ko daan defee moom ministre dafa ñu wax ñaari fukki minute wax ñu li nga xam ne moom la seetu si secteur waaye bii duñ ko defee noonu bi dañoo wone vidéo mooy documentary bu ñoo woon secteur bi depuis bu président Barrow ñëwee ba léegi lan lañ liggéey si mbiri ndaw yi ak tàggat yaram bi boobu nañ ko gis ñu gisal ko suñ boppa ñu xam ne liggéey digga am na si nguuri Adama Barrow surtout jàppale ndaw yi ak dooleel ndaw yi programme bi nag mooy Mansa Kunda lu am solo la président bi moo ñu sas mu ne bëgg réeroo am diggante askan bi ak nguur gi ba li nga xam ne nguur gaa ko de sooy ngoon bu gën a askan bi yëg ko waaye tamit li nga xam ne mooy jafe-jafe askan bi ak seeni xalaat ak seeni pas-pas bu gën a nguur gi tamit yëg ko parce que loolu mooy nguur dañ ko teg pour jàppale askan bi parce que dénkaane la ñëpp mënuñoo dem Banjul nekk président waaye ñëpp mënuñoo dem cabinet am na ñi nga xam ne ñoom la yàlla dogal ne ñoom ñoo faa nekk ñii nekk fii ñii nekk fële ku nekk réew mi dem kon lépp loo xam ne alale nguur la jaadu na pour nguur askan bi xam naka lañ ko doxalee moo tax programme bi am ñaari semaine bu nekk ñuy si benn ministre ak ñi nga xam ne ñoom ñoo liggéeyal ñu kàlloo askan bi wax ñu alal buñ ko dénka ak jawrin buñ ko dénka naka la ko doxalee si li nga xam ne mooy war a njëriñ askan bi moo tax duñ em si woon leen liñ def si vidéo waaye tamit jox leen chance bi pour ngeen laaj ministre bi si li nga xam ne moom la moo doxalee secteur bi parce que yéen a ko fa teg yéen a koo fay salaire boo xam ne moom la moo njëriñee boppam kon programme bu am solo la te mooy first episode bi season 2 bi wa balaa ñoo commencé nag am nañ benn initiative buñ start Department of Information Service si njiitali Aisha Davis ñu ngi commencé benn magazine bu ñu ooyee Mansa Kunda magazine ma lépp loo xam ne nguur baa ngi ko liggéey si weer bi mun nga ko fa jàngee boobu lañu njëkk a launch tey suñ ko launché ba pare ñu play vidéo mi nga xam ne mooy won askan bi li nga xam ne mooy liggéey bi ñu def si secteur honorable ministre Bakary Badji ak ñi nga xam ne ñoo koo jàppale si wàllu ndaw yi ak tàggat yaram bi ñëpp gis ko seen mbóot ñu xam ne du wax rek waaye liggéey am na parce que dama di wax ne liggéey bu ma gis si nguuri Adama Barrow musuma koo gis fenn si àdduna si li nga xam ne secteur boo laal mu ngi dox du si yoon du si courant du si tali du si béykat yi du si tàggat yaram du si ndaw yi du si jigéen yi lépp loo laal mu ngi dox kon loolu noonu jëm kanam bu baag mag a mag mi nga xam ne ñu ngi ko sant yàlla di ko gërëmee His Excellency président Adama Barrow kon kaddu bi nag du gudda di wax ñëpp dal leen ak jaama te nag waxtaan gi dina am solo parce que ndaw yaa ngi fi ki nga xam ne moo jiite wàllu ndaw yi mu fi kon te waxtaan bi dina neex di emale foofu nag di wax ne director of press moom tam mu ngi nii nga egsi kay nga toog xëy na yow tamit di nga bëgg a laaj Bakary Badji dara di la gërëm yow itam director of press parce que documentary yi moom moo ko jiite ñi nga xam ne ñoo ko doon liggéey ak teamam bi yëpp ñi nga xam ne ñoo ko jàppale si documentary yi nga xam ne mooy yuri waa documentary series secteur bu nekk am na documentary te nag Minister of Youth and Sports lañ am dañ premier li nga xam ne mooy documentary Youth and Sports bi askan bi gis ko gis ne ñu ne gis wedi bokku ca kon di ngeen ko gis tey ne liggéey am na si secteur ñu ko gërëmee honorable Bakary Badji kon ñu ngi oo Mr Ibrahima Ndiaye mu ñëw sànni kàddu yu néew si mbiri magazine bi nga xam ne mooy Mansa Kunda magazine ñu launch ko su ko defee ñu dem si vidéo bi ñu seetaan after ñu ubbi géew gi ki nga xam ne am nga laajte rek pour le ministre nga laaj ko jërëjëf.
Good night. Standing on existing protocols due to time constraint, Honorable Minister, allow me to remind the August gathering and our viewers in the country and outside this country that the Department of Information Services, otherwise known as DOIS, is the technical arm of the Ministry of Information, Media, and Broadcasting, mandated to ensure that communication across government is coordinated effectively and responsive to diverse information needs of the nation. To fulfill this mandate, the department embarks on a lot of initiatives, you can call them activities as well. One of them is the creation of communication officers across ministries. This activity has led to a revolution in the way information dissemination and the handling of social media handles of ministries used to be. Most of you will agree with me that there has been a paradigm shift in this regard. The department also publishes the Gambia Daily newspaper, sectoral newsletters, and e-newsletters. All these initiatives go to reinforce each other to drive the message home. In addition to the above named initiatives, DOIS is pleased to announce that an additional activity to our information value chain geared towards open governance system is in progress. This activity is the publication of a biannual magazine, which we call Mansa Kunda. For now, it is a quarterly magazine, but there are plans to make it's a biannual, but there are plans to make it into a quarterly and possibly a monthly magazine. The magazine highlights sector milestones and The magazine highlights landmark sector milestones and the transformative work taking place across the country. To document this for the viewership and readership of audiences across the country. Today, or tonight, I have the pleasure to invite the Honorable Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting Service, Dr. Ismaila Ceesay, to officially launch this magazine. We have copies that will be distributed to you later. Thank you, Honorable Minister. You are welcome.
Aisha, can you come, please? Also, the ministers and can we have one for each? Thank you very much, Mr. Njai. I commend the entire DOIS team for this initiative, the Mansa Kunda, the Gambia Strategic Leap Forward. I thank everyone present here today. Ministers are here today, permanent secretaries, Our partners are here today, Asata Motors, Q Group or QCell, but also Bell Bottling as well. Thank you for your support, and thank you for everybody's support. The Ministry of Information, all our staff, thank you for your tireless efforts under the leadership of the PS Kodu Jabang. So now we will not waste much time. We will allow the minister to introduce your team. Today you are not speaking, you are answering questions. Introduce your team, and then we'll go straight to the video or the documentary. Then we'll go straight to Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you. To the Minister of Information, Dr. Ismail Assise, and to good evening to all the honorable ministers that are here, the Chief of Staff, Deputy Chief of Staff, and the permanent secretaries, from, of course, our permanent secretary, Mr. Bully Diba, and the Director of Press, and our members of the Diplomatic Corps. We have the UNRC, the UNDP Resident Coordinator, the Ambassador, France Ambassador to the Gambia, and to all of you that are from the Ministry of Youth and Sports and from other partners and stakeholders, welcome to this event of the Ministry of Youth and Sports. On the side of the Ministry of Youth and Sports, we have our Permanent Secretary here, Mr. Bully Diba, and then, of course, the Deputy Permanent Secretary, Finance and Admin, Mr. Lamin Kamara at the extreme left over there. And we have the manager, General Manager of the Independent Stadium and Friendship Hostel, Mr. Ibu Fai. And right behind here is the Acting Director of the National Sports Council, Mr. Mohamed Lamin Jawla. And on my right is Mr. Mbai Sen. He is the coordinator of our Gambia Songhai initiative, otherwise called GSI, which is the Agricultural Training Center that is managed by the ministry. And after him is the director at the Department of Youth and Sports, Mr. Abbas Ba. So that's the team. Of course, we have others who are seated right there in the audience, staffs from the ministry, from the department, and some other staffs from some of our satellite institutions. We have 7 satellite institutions under the ministry doing different kind of works. But we want to welcome each one of you to this Mansa Kunda. And as a Ministry of Youth and Sports, we are extremely happy that we are the ones launching the 2nd edition or episode 2 of the Mansa Kunda. And we will be excited to hear from you, from the questions you have, the issues you have, and myself and the team will be able to provide answers as much as we can. That's why we have everyone here. So welcome, and the next 1.5 hours will be an interesting one in our sector. Thank you. I made it short because Doctor asked me to make it short. He doesn't want us to say anything apart from introduction, even though he took 30 minutes of our time. But this is his show, and we want to congratulate him for all the good work he's doing in that ministry.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So we've reached the peak, what I would call the peak of the event. That is the unveiling of, or the premiere of the Irua Mansa Kunda series. Thank you, Director of Press, Ami Bojang Siso, for your hard work in making this possible, and your entire team. Haruna, I officially announce the unveiling of the premiere of the Mansa Kunda Irua documentary series. If you can start with Youth and Sports, please, we'll appreciate it. Thank you.
Across its cities, villages, farms, offices, and playing fields, the energy of youth is shaping a new national story. Under the leadership of the Barrow administration, the Gambia has embarked on a path of socio-economic transformation, one driven by inclusion, opportunity, and national pride. At the center of this vision stands the Ministry of Youth and Sports, an institution committed to unlocking the potential of the country's greatest resource, its young people.
As Minister of Youth and Sports, our vision aligns with the vision of the ministry, which is to have a population of young people that are empowered economically and with life skills, and ensuring that there is sports excellence in the country.
Economic transformation begins with skills and with access. The Gambia is a young nation, not only in years, but in spirit. Across its cities, villages, farms, offices, and playing fields, the energy of youth is shaping a new national story. Under the leadership of the Barrow administration, the Gambia has embarked on a path of socio-economic transformation, one driven by inclusion, opportunity, and national pride. At the center of this vision stands the Ministry of Youth and Sports, an institution committed to unlocking the potential of the country's greatest resource, its young people.
As the Minister of Youth and Sports, our vision aligns with the vision of the ministry, which is to have a population of young people that are empowered economically and with life skills, and ensuring that there is sports excellence in the country.
Economic transformation begins with skills and with access. Across the country, strategic investments in agribusiness and enterprise development are redefining how young Gambians participate in the economy. The Gambia Songhai Initiative, located in Chamen and Farafenye, serves as a center of technical excellence, equipping youth with modern agricultural knowledge, mechanized tools, and practical expertise.
Gambia Songhai Initiative stood out among the whole lot in a sense that we are not training just employees, but we are training young people to become entrepreneurs, to make sure that they understand that they run agriculture as a business, and they can understand that they can agriculture is lucrative, comparing the demand for agricultural inputs. And the program is 100% paid by the government through the Ministry of Youth and Sport, including the accommodation, the feeding, the medical care, and stipend, and of course all the training inputs.
Complementing this effort is the National Enterprise Development Initiative. Through decentralized business formalization centers in the Lower River and Upper River regions, entrepreneurship support is now closer than ever to the people. Young business owners are being guided to formalize, grow, and contribute meaningfully to local and national economies.
These interventions directly support national development, job creation, poverty reduction, and financial independence. There are some strong different opportunities created by government that helps young people develop, whether both in the formal and informal sector. Over the years, we've supported young people that are in the fishing industry, that are just normal day-to-day petty traders, that never thought there was an opportunity to be supported. Most of the grants and loans we give are funded 100% by the government through the Ministry of Youth and Sport.
Training jangal how to manage our business. Jangé naa si lu bari loo xamante ne support na ma because time boobu noonu pour organise suma boppa si suma business bi dafa xawoon na difficult waaye léegi moom kan go balaa ma doon am grant in bi suma business moom mooy lool ma lu toon noonu time boobu maa ngi amee woon suma shop bi boppa bu ma defee training bi bañ ma jox grant jox na ma courage bi pour ma ibiwaat jox nañ ñu each 50,000 te njëriñ na ma man moom lu bari jënd naa si machine jënd naa si a lot ñëw jaay bi nii yëpp si training ak si grant bi ma jox nii si laa gën a am idea boobu noonu ne di emul si grant bi rek support nañ ñu bañ dem China def fa training te training boobu noonu macha allah dama si jàngee lu bari loo xamante ni moom man suma bopp mun ma ko experience sax.
Nedi pumo de hedrando hospital. Hospital go not. Them conduct a court sale. They court sale. After the contact, no asino bagage are stuck with the that. It's a big thing. I have been at it pushed by my business from level A to level Z.
The National Youth Council, being a national body, has regional structures. And these are the structures that we use to mobilize young people into programs such as the Youth Connect, such as the NACOF, and other major programs that the National Youth Council has, either on a monthly basis, annual, or any programs or projects we are running out with our partners. We basically rely on our grassroots structures and regional structures to mobilize these young people. And we randomly select them to make sure that every part of society is being represented.
We were established primarily to really enhance the young people's participation in national development processes. Serve as the interface between government and the young people, relate the needs of government to young people to ensure it's captured in policy documents, but equally relate the government policy to young people and sit on their behalf in so many structures or institutions that have a bearing on the lives of young people in this country.
I'm a fabricator, an innovator. Here I build electric moving objects like electric car, electric tractor, and electric bicycle, scooters, and farm machines too. I was lucky to be among the people that nominated for the pitching competition. So I went with the bike there to pitch. My product was the best in the pitching competition on that year. I received $50,000 from the pitching competition. We first created electric scooter. Then from the electric scooter, then we came to the minibus. Then we created the minibus for transportation service. Then from there, we created tractor for farmers. The grant was helpful. We were able to buy some of the things that like the electronic parts because they are not available in the Gambia here. So we were able to buy some of those parts. So the metallic parts here, they are available in the Gambia. So we use that one and build the bike continue like that. We built 7 electric bicycles and we sold them all. And I say great thanks to the NYC on the Ministry of Transport. They did for giving the grant, and they didn't only stop at giving the grant, they exposed me to the world, whereby I have to go, from their support, I have to go up to China to see outside also what those people are also doing.
For a nation to strive, its graduates must be prepared not only academically, but professionally. The National Youth Service Graduate Program is a flagship intervention designed to bridge the gap between education and employment. By placing graduates in real-world professional environments, the program builds confidence, competence, and a culture of excellence. It is a strategic investment in human capital, preparing young Gambians to lead in government, industry, and innovation. Alongside this, the President's International Award Skills Center in Bakau continues to nurture vocational talent. Through mentorship, hands-on training, and technical support.
Through the NYSS, the Ministry of Youth and Sport, we're able to support of those young people to learn the basic skills. This, if you look at in connection to Yilwa, I have a big imperative. The impact is very high. Because one, we are talking about the skill gap and also the employment gap. And this is what we are trying to fill, looking at the number of people that we are able to build. When we start with 100 young people, we have almost 85. Now, down the line to the second cohort, as we speak, we are almost about 5 to 6 months. We already have 10 people who already get employment. But currently, the government is supporting 450 young people to learn the basic skills. Among them, we also have the university graduates. University graduates are 100, and other, as I said, ATP, you have 150, and the other one is 200. Now join them, put them all together, you have 450 people that government is supporting.
Perintah NYSS, na kararola karanje, perintah kararola karanje, yen karande kunturola, yen karande sumandirola, yen karande how to bakararo kumasalanya anuba masimo start la nyame pa. Nena wa mera ko may opportunity fa so tala ko even karande la kararola. Kanto manu sirin na mantara fenke kan so nata opportunity so. Kay bala no kan na graduation la. Gal nata ma koy kanan nata na mari creation ya ja. Green la mari creation. Ka den ko karale, ka fano karale, ka kurto karale, ka simiso karale, ka uniform karale, ka musu den ko karale. Before na family je nyame ani se alhamdulillah kanto quite different. Sangani banko birina dat ya je say nga ñu commencé ani na mom ani na sister soul girl be contenta karalo fana mo ñu ko do min sota kanje ben family help angela même fan na ka kanje alhamdulillah.
We discovered that if you go to other schools and other tertiary institutions, it's mostly tailored for young people that have been to school.
Then we decided to open the school and have a zero entry requirement for it. The only requirement, you must be a Gambian. We don't look at how much qualification you have, whether you have learned French or Arab or English. Once you are Gambian, you want to learn skills and you come with enrolling. So currently we are running all skills: carpentry, auto mechanic, welding, bread making, food making, tailoring and fashion design, hairdressing. All these skills we are running at a certificate level, and all these courses are accredited by NACA. From 2016 to date, the number of participants that enroll in the program graduate, we are getting close to 16,000. And at the skill center, from 2016 to date, we have registered 1,250 people who have graduated from the skill center. And at the skill center, all the students who have graduated from the present international skill center, half of their school fees are covered by the government.
My name is John Gomez. I play la jange. So I'm school St. Clair's from grade 7 to 9. After my grade 9, I no talk. So I was again. So I was grade 11. When I get when I smell it, it's more again grade 11 nakara. And I'm gonna come. I'm gonna fail come more than grade 11. But I'm not talking of my dara. When I'm gonna study carpentry, because time spent school, I'm gonna janga, I'm gonna get full of interest that you need. So when I get when I'm gonna PIA direct. After that, mom, I'm not injuring you. I'm not come. I'm not gonna pass years. Come, talk more for what I waste. I'm not janga na body. What that this is that you not talk about bonus me fair me thing. Because my am league, so my quarter league bena. So the member am contract in my league. You find a league because PIA luma defar luma ko fake. Because PIA am not for. So what the member? Ila janga 100%. Lo buga no am. PIA zero. Yo mana be de ganya Japan. So to fade me nga gina mu nga first jom rek je first jom so first jom nga dem on je lo ne ma don fi le nga fa asi le fa asi pour lan la nga jappale sa famille.
Together, these initiatives form a strong foundation for a competitive, future-ready workforce. Sport has the power to unite a nation. To sustain this momentum, the government is investing over $283 million in the modernization of the Independence Stadium. This transformation will elevate national infrastructure to meet international standards, creating spaces worthy of Gambian excellence.
You cannot have a good national team, whether it's football or basketball, volleyball, if you don't have good infrastructure. So the two are intertwined, and we're looking at it from that angle, that we must be able to invest in the infrastructure, invest in the human capacity development, but also invest in the participation of our national team in a way to be able to empower young people.
Beyond the capital, community-level investments from the Mboyo football field in Bakote to the Farafenye Youth Center are strengthening grassroots development. Here, talent is discovered early, nurtured locally, and celebrated nationally.
People understand that government's investment in sports has a huge impact on strengthening sports development in the country. And the investment is not only in one area. Investment in infrastructure, investment in the athletes, investment in the associations that have the clubs that produce the athletes. Now, on the side of infrastructure, government have invested a lot in providing football fields and also multi-purpose courts. The likes of the Mboyo field, for example, which is a very key investment of government in terms of strengthening sports in the country.
This is the place where we used to play, formerly known as Mboyo Field, which the name itself would tell you that it was not the best pitch. Because when locally you use the word Mboyo Field, you realize that it's not a professional ground anyway.
Team yu bari yu nga xamne ñu ngi play Serekunda is Serekunda West ak nakala Manjay yu bari ci gox bi lañ joggé. You understand? So tay team yoy non yep so gisé ñu gëna sibiti mo nekk fi nu melon. It was not registered as a zone ba paré time bobu nonu fii nu mel doo fi mun a play nawetaan.
It was a waterway, and secondly, people will be playing on the ground, and some other things also will be interrupting us. Like you'll be seeing people passing by, donkeys also passing. So for us to even have a good match, it is a problem for us.
For us to play Nevetan during the rainy season is really a difficult time. So normally what we do is we wait until the rainy season ends. So then we start playing our Nevetan, and the field was very terrible.
It's a big surprise to us, to see a development like this to come to our area.
It is a nice structure because it incorporated different sporting activities, not only football, but then you have basketball, volleyball, tennis. Those are all sporting disciplines that people can do here. And the achievement that we expect here is to have more professionals from not only Bakote or London, but from the Gambia. It's not a structure that would be benefited by one community, but in actual sense, many communities, as it is centered at the right borders between Bakote, Bundung, and London Corner. Currently, it has served as a nurturing hub for sports, not only for Bakote, but for the Gambia.
Liggéey bu ñu defal fii nii kontaan nañ torop liggéey bi rafet na torop because lii rek lañ doon ñaan si at yooyu yëpp depuis bu ñoo nekk xale lii rek lañ doon ñaan.
We are just amazed with the massive development that happens here within this short time. We are thanking the president, the ministers, and rights stakeholders for bringing such a massive structure within our communities.
True development is sustained by strong institutions and forward-thinking policies. Guided by a youth-first philosophy, the Ministry of Youth and Sports is advancing legislative reforms that will define the sector for generations to come. The proposed Youth and Sports Bill represents a renewed commitment, strengthening governance, improving coordination, and ensuring sustainable funding for youth development.
The bill is meant to give the young people a better platform in terms of the regulations, because we know that we have never had anything like a youth bill. What we had was the Youth Council Act that establishes the council, and there it talks about registration of youth organizations and some few things relating to management of youth organizations. But the bill expands on what was existing before to ensure that we have a law that is there to give young people rights, but also stipulates what their responsibilities are.
The Ministry of Youth and Sports, advancing potential of Gambian youth.
When we talk about youth first, basically what we are talking about is opportunity. We want in this ministry that every young person will be given the opportunity to grow and develop. Young people are the backbone of the society. They are the cream of our society. They want to be recognized. They want to make sure their voices are heard, and they want to make sure that they are part of the development trajectory of this country. So the policy of the government is very, very timely. Since we are a young country, we are a very peaceful country. We want to sustain that. We want to maintain the peaceful nature of the country. In order to do that, we have to prioritize the young people of this country. And I'm glad that the government is doing that. It's looking into that direction.
We're looking forward to a more empowered youthful population with technical skills, and of course a shift from the conventional education that everybody seems to focus on to look at the skill set. And government, under the leadership of President Barrow, is looking at that angle, because we are now not looking at just the GTTIs or the USAID and others, but we're building institutions like excellence centers in Tujareng for fisheries sector. And there are already young people that are being trained outside the country to be lecturers in those institutions. We want a more empowered population, but a young, fruitful population that is ready to take up the informal sector.
Thank you very much. I hope you all enjoyed that very short video which summarized all the achievements in the youth and sports sector over the past 7-8 years. Honorable Minister, congratulations We've seen you've done a fantastic job. We commend the team for making us proud. Now we will have a quick break. Okay, the break is over, so it's not my show, it's your show. You'll stand here. You'll answer 3 questions at a time. You'll take first three questions. You or any one of your team that what you want to answer can answer that question. Then we'll go to the next 3 until I say stop, and we can stop. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, okay, ladies and gentlemen, we would now open the floor. But before that, we have had a few arrivals who have come to join us. The ambassador of Turkey to the Gambia, of course, the deputy head of mission from the People's Republic of China also came in. The Secretary General and head of the civil service, Salim Jai, also joined us while the video was on, and we want to welcome all of them. Of course, our director at the National Youth Council was also here. So, like the Honorable Minister of Information did say, the floor is open. We would take, I guess, 3 questions at a time and try to respond as much as we can. I can respond. If then also we can have the permanent secretary or any of the directors respond if there is any issue that probably I'm not very familiar with. They are all here to help. Ladies and gentlemen, it's over to you now. So there's a roving mic, so you can just raise your hand, and then the one handling the mic will come to you.
Right. My name is Fari Mansanya. I'm the president of the Nursing Students Association at the University of the Gambia. Huh? Right, that is fine. That is fine. So the first one is not a question, actually. I think it is just a suggestion, because I can see many of us that are here will be able to speak English. But then those that are out there, some of them might not be able to speak English. So the documentary that is just played might not be very well, understood by those that are out there and they've never been to school before. So that is one of my recommendations. I think preferably that the languages down there or in the documentary be mixed up. Right. So my question to the Honorable Minister is, because this is a youth ministry, right? Don't you think all of you, or you and your team that are representing the ministry there, are not above the youthful age? Because I think the right people to represent the ministry are those that are at that youthful age. That is one of my questions. Yes. And the second one is, okay, the second one is, do you think when it comes to the sector of sports, do you think you can say, okay, I have achieved anything successful if the Gambia did not have anything or did not have any stadium that is recommended by FIFA or African football as a standard football field? Thank you.
Okay, we can move to the next
Hello,
one.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Bakari Jasi, Hilltop Radio. I will ask a question in Mandinka. Honorable Minister, Najini Karuba Kela Muntiwalam, Ninkartam Bilala, Kibaro Findra GFF, Minketa, Gambia Kadam Fubulo Bundat, Federation. Iko Gambia Ndeka play Ning Iran, Majumi Ndeka play Antalya in Turkey. Mol content, Kabina Kibaro Fananje Komban, Majdo Kela Nin Sierra Leone, and the Kalun Samala, and the Kala Stadium. Mol content for the first time Sagina Nikono, while the Sanju Lukang and Majo play in Fanla Stadium. But the Okola Nada Kibaro Jumboda, Ministry of Youth and Sport, Iko Jeff Koronga Purga Kibaro in Bondi by Mampari Mekara Stadium Moti. You have figured out Kodenko, but the Ministry of Maleko, Stadium in Pata Samajo Keno Jele. Nakajaso, Nin National Sport Council, Mia Lonkolabani Ministry Tema, Mia Quendima, Ko Kaladan Fosa Keno, Jimbakala Sama, against Inseret. So, we Muntandi Mula Mufakawalam, Mui the Balia Ministry of Youth and Sport Tema, and in Gambia. Full of Federation. Kibaro la dio, ka purban ko mulia kalamada. Ba kumata ba kiban ko do la purka majo play jang na ki bado finda ka mol kontani ni ko do findira melon ko ani fofo daño ko akara banko don no ki abari fo mo sa confirm no wala minister ko kibaro labo ka ministry of youth and sport ani national youth sport council tema kada je kibaro aldama tema mantra di kan kay ndaka di nyame wala fo mo ko mo ni daga fenno melon ko abal dama tema. And second question, well, from September, Gambia daga play qualifier no plukara AFCON in East Africa. For Gambia sala home majo play no, mfala baye bato come September. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Ansumano Koli, a student from the University of Gambia. First and foremost, I would like to thank the Honorable Minister, Dr. Ismaila Ceesay, for organizing this very important Mansa Kunda 2.0. Dr. Ismaila Ceesay is a lecturer who taught me, and I want to give you, the benefit of the doubt, to say thank you for inspiring knowledge. Indeed, your knowledge that you inspired in me have definitely given me the reason why I'm here to stand and talk in front of the public. Thank you very much for that, I'm so grateful. So, Honorable Minister, my question is very short. In 2023, you organized or you launched the National Youth Service Graduate Program, and which was very successful. And for the first time in the history of Gambia, we have such a program, and it was able to, bring 88 students that have the capacity to be in that program. And currently in the Mansa Kunda magazine, that 150 students are definitely participating in that program. So my question is, with the recent or unprecedented number of UTG graduates, over 1,600 UTG graduates have graduated in this year's academic program. And now, which means the number of, or the demand for students to be part of this National Youth Service Scheme program will be higher. What is your ministry doing to ensure that these 1,600, over 1,600 UTG students will be able to benefit in this graduate program? What is your ministry doing to ensure that this, you will cater this huge number of UTG graduates? Thank you.
Okay, I think the rule is we take 3 and then answer, and we will come back to you. Hopefully we'll have time to take all the questions. Just to go straight to the point, the first from Mr. Sanyang about the staffs being not youth and above the age. Yeah, sometimes we hear these kind of things, right? But being a youth and being employed to work in the institutions of the ministry is a 2 completely different things. The youth have institutions in which they are expected to be members, either by way of election or by way of appointments, and that is happening. So today, if you go to the National Youth Council, the head of the secretariat, who is sitting right here, is above the youth age. But every other member of the council is a youth. The chairpersons of the regions who are elected by the young people are young people. They have a rule that you cannot be a member of the council if you are up to 35 or above 35, which is the definition for youth. The same thing applies. The chairperson that is appointed is equally a young person. And these are the ones that make the resolutions, make the decisions that make the council work. However, staffing matter have set requirements as per the civil service code or the public service sectors that you must have certain a degree or a master's to be able to be there. And sometimes, yes, you might have someone who is 30 who has graduated but is still below the youth age, but they must be employed. And the employment is advertised and people apply. And we can take, if you are 30 and you have the requirements, you apply, we will take you, certainly. But it doesn't mean that you will have to terminate someone who is working there and then becomes 35, or you say, okay, you are now above the youth age, bye-bye, we go look for someone else who is below the youth age. So it doesn't work like that. So staffing matters are a little bit different, and the staffs are seen more like public servants, and as long as they are not up to 60, they are allowed to work within the sector. And their role is to provide policy, is to provide leadership and direction that makes the sector work. But when it comes to resolutions and decisions, we engage young people as much as possible, as you've seen in the documentary. And we have all these structures, the youth parliaments and others that we are all supporting, okay? I think that should be the answer. Of course, if you're a young person, when they advertise, you can apply. And some of them, the directors have been there for a while, but most of the staff below them are definitely young people. The issue of the stadium versus achievements. You asked the question, do we think we have achieved in the word, in code, anything? Ask the ministry. I think the video is evident that the Ministry of Youth and Sports has achieved a lot more beyond the stadium issue. And you've seen the NYSS, somebody just talked about it, a program that empowers young people, and it cuts across all categories. If you get grade 9 and you drop out of school, there is a program that the government is putting for young people to help them to be able to earn skills and then be able to earn a living. And the testimonies were said in the video. If you finish grade 12, there's a special program which is a regular batch which you can enroll into. If you finish grade 12, university, we have the National Youth Service Graduate Program that Mr. Kohli just mentioned, which is targeting university graduates who maybe have not gotten work. They get into the program, they're placed in 1-year internship or job placement, and then through that they get employed. These are all achievements outside the sports. But even in the sport itself, today, with this government, the government is paying a national team coach. These are not things that happened before. We know, those who are in the sport know what I'm talking about. Today, the government has employed through the National Sport Council 2 coaches for athletics, paid for by the ministry. These are all new things. We have a national team coach who is coaching volleyball and is employed to build skills. And we look at the infrastructure development that is happening. All of these are developments that are happening under the ministry. However, we understand and we acknowledge the challenges that we face in terms of the stadium, and we've communicated that. The unfortunate part is, stadium is a 40-year infrastructure, now maybe 42 years since it was opened in 1983. Never had any renovation over the 40 years, and we had to inherit a kind of structure that was dilapidated, and the cost to be able to renovate it to the standard is a little bit higher than we anticipated. But as we got onto the job, then we realized that what we task ourselves to do and what CAF requires is completely different, and we have to ensure that we do the right thing. So that is the only thing. But I don't believe, and I'm sure these are the conversations online, people just want to streamline the entire ministry to a stadium. It is very important, but the Ministry of Youth and Sports goes beyond football. We are into basketball, we are into volleyball, we are into wrestling, we are into athletics, and others. And we are into other infrastructure development. What is shown here is Mboyo Field. But you've seen the Farafenni Youth Center. It's a center that has everything, both youth and sports. We have a center where there's an IT training, there is a hall for programs, there is a hostel for accommodation, as well as a volleyball, basketball lawn built inside there in Farafenni, giving young people of that area an opportunity to have sport infrastructure. You go to Pakalinding, we have a similar structure. You go to Janjambre, we have a similar structure. In Bansang, there is one. In Basse, there's a new youth center that has all these facilities. And all of these are for young people. So when people think stadium is the only thing, no. And we are doing our best, and that will just make me answer this question about will we play here in September? Yes, we are sure that we'll play here in September. In fact, the reason that gave GFF the hope to make that announcement is because they themselves are convinced that the stadium is ready. What we are doing is because stadium is not just about football. Stadium in the main bowl has football, and it has athletics, long jump, and high jump. So in our renovation, we task ourselves to renovate the football area, all the facilities needed for football, and that is now complete. What is left is the athletics, because His Excellency the President, based on his understanding of sports, has decided that instead of just limiting ourselves to football, let's also look at other areas. And when we approached him for the tracks, he was able to give approval. We didn't have the money, but he took it upon himself to ask Minister of Finance to provide additional funding for us to be able to do the tracks, so that when the stadium is complete, we will be having a complete infrastructure that caters for football, caters for athletics, and all the other track and field games. So that is what we're doing now. If you go there today, maybe you'll not be allowed to go in, but they have already removed all the old tracks that are broken and replacing them with new tracks. And what they're doing now is putting up the borehole, the the drainage system before the asphalt and eventually the tracks. And we are hopeful that very soon we will be able to get the stadium ready. And yes, September, March will be played here. That is our hope, because the only thing that CAF said was the problem the last time is the pitch. The pitch is renovated. The consultant that was sent here by CAF is satisfied with what is going, what has happened, and he has even shared the pictures himself, and some of you see it. I see some people saying it's AI pictures. They are not AI pictures, they are real pictures. All right? But it shows you how beautiful they are. That's why they call them AI. All right, so the issue with the announcement that came earlier and the counter message that came from the ministry. Responding Mandinka. Okay, so Mr. Colley, no, that was from Jase. So Minketa is unfortunate, right? Let me because Ntol as a government and as a ministry, moya lone nunto. Minga kenung diamu jamale kake between the ministry and the JFF, and not just JFF, even the GNOC. But ni Mansa Kunda approach minta, wolem ko stakeholders minta sila le kacha. Annal man ben kanto, but I'll be kacha lale, maybe mimbe finte la banta. I came into defend me along kabi molbele na fala. Not to go into Nyindo Nyimfo or Ministry of Wulilong killing, GFF dissolve le, or GNOC dissolve le, your police all kije, eta jemuta, wole ka kenu. But antolko, purna sports ye yirwa, mbe nyanta kila kilinti nga doko ke fente mi along ko, wolebe football and sports samala nyata. So minketa on that instance, moli ajele, GFF le announcement okay, on the 7th of May. They're playing a match with Iran in Antalya in Turkey, and then after the Purkamajo play Jang, or there'll be a match between Gambia and Sierra or Guinea-Bissau in the same window. That was on the 7th of May. Ntolma kalamata, ntolnga jele on the social media, come like it on the social media. So ntolnga minfo was very clear that the announcement was premature. That is the truth, because what minna itulja saferoke was after the announcement was done to the public. Walati na itul nada, purka public ni apologize, ka foko, well, ngamaja minfo na te kenola because ministry ko stadium pare. But niato ko kacha ketanum before announcement of Bekela. Abekela told them manyun tem. Hanin dol nga for ha, but later on nga for hani. Molta alone nola. But because it told her on the 7th announcement, okay, what will antofanga makam. Tenga ngana director local. Bring nga on Facebook, nga tele force call. Nga ko je, nga je FF jale announcement okay. Fo ni kacha tele ma ko hani. Nga ko say announcement okay nyaade la ko ntofango maje. Nga ko taila Facebook page ya jibe. That was on the 7th of May. What told me the tell you safari okay, and the letter went back. I told me the controller letter was dated on the 14th of May. And that 14th of May was giving them alternatives, to say options. Either you can play on this day or you can play on the other day, but at all after minna at the Kenola or Watola. We give reasons why. But Watola until we are hopeful ko doko nyimbe parela. Wato minetol wanted to play the game, we got back to them through my PS, that was verbal, Kafoko at the Kenola. And that is the issue. So it's an unfortunate situation, but ndolnga minfo is the truth. Ni more time menti, ni lafta purka use. Even though you are a stakeholder, but it got hale na kacha follow. Yaniba follow mole ko nyine be caring. So this is the issue, but it has been resolved. We've moved on from that. But just to assure you, we don't have problems. We have disagreements sometimes, but nkakachale internally and we resolve it. Though it came out unfortunately to the public, but Ndola Stadium is not football stadium. It's an independent stadium for all sports. All right. The other part is okay. The last one, whether based on the university graduate program, if we will increase the numbers, I think that's the question. In summary, well, we would really wish to be able to increase the numbers because we know how much impactful that program has been. But increasing numbers comes along with extra funding. So we are happy our UNDP resident representative is here because they are partners in the National Youth Service Graduate Program. And I'm sure they would hear the demand that we want it increased. It's co-funded by the government and by the UNDP. And our interest really is to be able to increase numbers annually. But it's a little bit expensive because not just the orientation, you keep them in camp with an orientation that you saw in the video, and they're trained on a lot of issues, patriotism, life skills, and a lot of other issues. But then they get to their institutional place of the institution where we place them, for 12 months. And each of those 100 young people are paid a monthly stipend. And if you calculate 5,000 times 100 by 12 months, that's some reasonable amount of money that government is putting in. So if you want to increase the numbers to 200, it will be appreciated, but we will look for funding to be able to do it. And really, with the interest and the impact it has made, we've seen a lot of interest coming, so hopefully we'll be able to add. But like the director explained, that is just one of the programs. The graduate program is 100. Then you have the apprenticeship training program, which is 150. Then you have the regular program, which is 200. That is why at a particular time, you have 450 young people that are in different institutions, either on training or on job placement, and each one of them is giving a monthly stipend. So if you calculate those things, and you don't see them, they are not buildings that you will celebrate like we celebrate the roads and the electricity. But those are impacts that we do in the young people's life in terms of building their skills and giving them opportunities that are not visible, but they're very important, okay? So I think this is the answers, if I get it right, yeah? Yeah. So we'll move on to the next set.
Hello, my name is Alpha Smare. My question involves a bit of various ministries combined. A digital strategist with more than 2 decades on it. What I want to ask is, with the growing number of digital experts, content creators, what is the Ministry of Youth doing regarding opportunities that would allow these various platforms to monetize and where they can make money out of it? That includes YouTube, TikTok, and various platforms. Now, the second one is, with the growing number of AI and other digital transformation, how is the ministry planning to equip other young people to adapt to digital trends and innovative trends? Also, policies that would also protect deepfake AI images, and also other policies that would protect young people and children. Thank you very much.
Okay, like I said, my name is Aret Jata from the Standard newspaper. My first question is, it was announced in March that the Gambia will host the African Union sports competition in June. We are now in the month of June. Will the Gambia proceed to host the competition? And my second question is, the GF said the Gambia government did not provide any financial support to the team during the last friendly match against Iran in Turkey. Is this true? And if so, why? Because the national team activities are normally funded by the... Thank you. The whole question? Yeah, I said because the national team activities are normally funded by the government.
Yes, good evening. Thank you for having us here for the 2.0 Mansa Kunda. Minister, my question will be quote from the vision of the ministry. Based on this Mansa Kunda that was here right now, it says part of the vision of the ministry is to deliver excellence in youth and sports development, to promote mass participation. This is the vision of the Ministry of Youth and Sport. And this has led me to ask, if the ministry want to promote mass participation in terms of youth and sport development, and for over the years in this country, we have seen that people have this belief that, or people believe that sport is not inclusive. Much especially if you look at the gap between the rural sport and the urban sport. People have even claimed that in our national team, if you come from the rural side of the country, to play in the national team, it is very difficult. So looking at the vision of the ministry, we want to know what plans did the ministry have to make sure sport and other related youth developments reach to the remotest village in this country? Thank you. That's my question. And my name is Sehti Jangay, a student of the University of the Gambia, majoring in political science. Thank you.
Mr. Gay, I think it would just be good to start from you because you just asked a question now. In the vision and the policies of the ministry, mass sports is clearly mentioned, and there's a reason why, because mass sports is actually where everybody has opportunity to participate in sports. What we see sometimes at the regional and the national level is a pyramid of sports. So at the base, you have the mass participation where everybody is, whether you're going to evolve into a big sport person or you're going to take sports as a career or not, you're there. Then you have the middle part and the elite part, which is the national team. So a lot of times the focus is on the elite. So when we talk about mass sports, we're talking about extending sports opportunities in terms of infrastructure, in terms of facilities, in terms of trainers, to everywhere else where we are able to reach. And yes, we are doing that. Unfortunately, it did not come out in the documentary. Well, maybe it did actually, with the Mboyo Field, which is one of the projects that has been done and actually going to be opened this month by His Excellency the President, is one of those. And I always say that the policy that the ministry has is communicating the vision of the ministry and by extension the government. But it did not say that it is the ministry alone or the government, central government alone that should do that. As the policy holder, we develop policies in consultation with our stakeholders with the belief that that is what is everybody, every institution in the sector going to use to be able to develop sports moving forward. So when you see, for instance, Gambia Athletics Association, Gambia Football Association, or Gambia Football Federation, Gambia Volleyball, doing sports in Mansa Kunda, or doing sports in Genoa, or doing sports somewhere else in Basso Fatoto, that is the mission of the ministry. So the ministry is saying this is what we want, and everyone else follows that. But yes, in the process, we support by ensuring that we build infrastructure where we are able to build infrastructure. We provide the financial support to communities to develop their infrastructure. But we are also encouraging the local councils, the area councils, to also take up their role in terms of development of community sporting centers. Because according to the Local Government Act, they have the mandate to do that, not the ministry. And I know a lot of times people ask the ministry, why didn't you build this? Why didn't you do a football field in Busumbala or in Farato? Normally, that should have been the councils taking over the responsibility so that the ministry focus on the policy, on the programs, on the funding, and on the national teams. But that doesn't happen, unfortunately. So we are doing our best as much as we can, and that's why you see us moving from the national level to build an infrastructure in Farafenye that was seen here with the youth center, or we are moving to Mboyo Field. In January of this year, we supported 12 communities with financial support for them to be able to expand on the infrastructure. And we made it very clear they have to develop a project proposal, and we fund it. So it's either they're fencing a football field, or they're putting up a change room in a particular football field that is fenced, or they're putting up lights to be able to play night matches. And we've seen that. Today, if you go to Serekunda East, the lights that were just recently installed is support from the Ministry of Youth and Sports with $1 million for the lightning. Serekunda West, we gave them $500,000 to build a new pavilion. If you go to all the way in Yomilamen in North Bank, we gave them $500,000 to fence their football field. And the list goes on, all the way to Basse, and Badari and all of those areas. So that is what, support is. So yeah, he's giving me the list. Oh, Basse in Kazekunda, or quite a number of other communities that we are supporting, okay? And like I said, also the other part about the coaching. Today, our coaches that we hired go all the way to URR to watch games, to be able to pick up a talent from LRR or from SOMA or from URR, so that they become part of the national team if they're able to meet the requirements. So that is the participation that we are talking about. The AUSC games, okay, no, about the digital skills. No, but you are very right. In the youth policy, the young people's, the need for young people to be capacitized with digital skills and all that is particularly mentioned. So there is efforts going on through the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy. I know they have a new project that is targeting that, to be able to help the young people with those kind of skills. Because again, like you mentioned, it's an interrelation of ministries having different roles to play. So yeah, we're doing our part, but the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy is doing their part. But under us, we have a program which is called Youth Connect. And then the Youth Connect, one of the key components of the Youth Connect focuses on the skills that young people need to be able to participate in, like you said, the blue economy with the internet, what is available in the internet in terms of the skills they can get. And at our office at Carnifing, at the Youth Center, there is a youth lab, a youth incubator lab, where young people come to get trained on different skills. And also there is the online radio where they go in and interact and communicate with colleagues from other parts of the world and all of that. So Youth Connect is one area that has that. And I'll be proud to say the Youth Connect coordinator in the Gambia is actually Youth Connect itself is actually one of the best programs, again, that we have in the region. And that is why the Youth Connect coordinator in the Gambia, who is Basiru J, is just, I think he's supposed to leave this weekend to go to one of these countries in East Africa to help them set up Youth Connect in their own country. And he has done that for other countries in West Africa as well. So that is where the program is. And you saw one of the guys, I think he's Ibrahima. He's one young guy that is into innovation and tech sector, who the ministry supported with training. And he came and did a pitching and won a prize. And then he was taken to China to be able to get more exposure. So those are some of the opportunities that is there, but it is more about the Ministry of Digital Economy, and we're working with them to be able to expand on that skill, and yes, help young people to be able to monetize their accounts, which, like you said, Ministry of Information also have a role in that. The last thing about maybe two more, AUSC games, maybe I'll shorten my answers now because I know we're running out of time. The AUSC games, unfortunately, no, yes, we did that announcement. We even went ahead to set up a committee to work on the TOLAC, which is the West Africa Wrestling Championship, with a mandate to transition to organize the AUSC game. But unfortunately, it has been postponed for now until October, based on various reasons. One part is from the AU Secretariat itself not being ready because they were supposed to come to work with our local team for us to sign the hosting agreement. We didn't have those things take place based on other logistical and administrative issues on that side, but also locally also, like I said, the stadium is under renovation and we have to fix the track before you can host that game. So these are the reasons why it has been postponed for now, tentatively until October 5th. Okay, so 15th. Okay, so October 5th to 11 is what my peers is telling me. That's the new date, that we have to find out. But like I said, this is an international event. That does not just take about Gambia to host. It has to take the AU for us to sign the hosting agreement, and that didn't happen until now. The officers are here currently as we speak. They arrived in the country, I think, a few days ago, and they've been around for a while, and they're finalizing all the things and doing the necessary inspection. When Gambia was playing with Iran, you said the GFF said the ministry, I don't think GFF said the ministry did not provide funds. They only made an announcement that the Gambia-Iran game is being fully funded by the GFF. Communication-wise, we understand why that is, because the ministry didn't put in money, and maybe they wanted that to be clear, that the ministry didn't put in money. So made it that way, that they fully funded. They even put a breakdown of how much they were spending, which is interesting, because this is the first time that we are seeing those kind of things. When we put in money, we don't see our money announced by them. But it's interesting that when they put in their money and they announce it, it's a good thing, because it means it's a practice. So moving forward, when government put in, stakeholders would get to know exactly how much we put in and what it means. Now, what we said is clear. National teams are funded by government. But you see, I think we all need to just acknowledge the fact that there is a ministry and there is a sport council. There's a government. The federation also must acknowledge that they operate under the armpit of the government. You don't just go and make decisions on your own. and you expect to come to us and to give you money. We don't operate that way because we also have other priorities. If you tell us we want to host a match next month against this country and you need budget, then we work towards it. We can tell you if it is possible or it's not possible. And if we say it's possible, then you go plan it and then come, we give you money. But if you plan, arrange and everything, and then you come and tell us 2 weeks before the game or 3 weeks before the game that there's a football match and there's money, we don't have that money because the truth is we don't have a budget kept somewhere specifically to say this is for the football team. We have budget to support sports, but it is released based on planned activities. And I made it very clear. I've said this multiple times. I said, for the longest time, we have been doing so well in terms of supporting our national teams to go and participate in international competitions. Football, basketball, volleyball, athletics, wrestling. But back home, we don't have the infrastructure. So government, the ministry have taken a deliberate attempt or step to say we must scale down on international participation and focus on building our infrastructure. And this is the only way forward. I know it's difficult, and I've said this, that people will start complaining when we don't give money because everybody wants to go and participate in international competition. But what is it giving us? When you go and participate, maybe football, everybody loves it, and we all appreciate what is going on. But with the other sports, all of them, you go and participate, you lose your game, and then you come back. Great, we're giving opportunities to young people. But back home, we are not doing so well in infrastructure. And sometimes when they go and participate, and when they lose, when you ask them, but you guys, we spent this much, you did not win a medal, they will tell you, no, we were exposed to facilities that we are not used to. You know, the last time we spent 32 million for teams to go to Ghana, and they didn't win. Well, maybe Gina won athletics medal. But in the evaluation, they told us that they were playing in an indoor court, but they are not used to playing in indoor courts. So the sound disturbs them, they cannot perform. And I said, okay, so then let's take that money and build infrastructure so that next time you wouldn't tell us that you don't have the infrastructure. So government is deliberately investing more in the infrastructure. And that is why you're seeing facilities coming up, facilities that were never here. But those things come with sacrifice because it's one single budget. You either spend 10 million to go and participate in international activity, or you spend 10 million to build an infrastructure. We believe that if we participate in two, we can use one to build infrastructure and support communities. That's why we're able to do all these things that we're doing now. It's not magic. So these are the things, ladies and gentlemen. And for those of us that are in the sports sector, you will have to bear with us. There is a lot of improvements that have happened under this government when we are paying coaches for football, paying coaches for athletics and volleyball, where we are developing infrastructure to the lowest of community levels. That is improvement. That improvement that comes along with a little bit of sacrifice. But yes, but that's the issue about, teams. But, the other part is the truth is, when countries also invite you and they host you, they take some of the responsibilities. And I'm sure it happened here in, was it February when we played with Senegal? And March, when Gambia was invited to play with Senegal, and Senegal took care of the accommodation and the tickets, and the government took care of the camping allowances and the match bonuses. We gave GFF $8 million. Unfortunately, that was not announced, but we gave $8 million for that match between Gambia and Senegal. And the part that people don't understand is to say, oh, why is Senegal paying for it? It's a very normal thing in sports. And sometimes I tell the sport journalists, you need to help us educate our people. It's very normal. When you invite somebody, there's what they call appearance fee. The appearance fee can be money paid to the team, or you can say, we are going to host you and we'll pay this and this and that. That is normal football. But we need to be able to understand those things, okay? And that's exactly what happened between us and Iran. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister.
Okay. Greetings,
oh, okay.
Honorable Minister. Okay. I want to remind you that despite the efforts that have been made, the illegal migration is still on the rise. And as of 2025, reports have clearly shown that about 2,000 Gambians use the Mediterranean Sea to enter Europe. Honorable Minister, many young Gambians feel that the only way to a dignified life is to risk everything on the back way. Beyond telling the youth not to go, what tangible, high-value economic alternatives is the ministry creating to prove to us that we can thrive right here in the Gambia? I doubt if truly the achievements that were shown here reflect the realities of society. Thank you. My name is Musa Tamba, a political science student of the University of the Gambia.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable. I think it's my time now. Some of my questions were asked by colleagues, but I have two very important questions that I want to also ask. And talking about the head coach, I want to pick it from where you stopped. We've seen recently, just I think last week, you've renewed his contract to 2 years. I want to know exactly how did you reach to awarding him the 2-year contract? And in the instance that he fails to qualify the Gambia to the next AFCON, what happens? The second question is going to be about governance, which seems to be a challenge in our sports. And you've talked about a sports bill, which I'm a big fan of. I want to know exactly when can we have that sports bill for the development of Gambian sports? Thank you.
Now here, we have one question.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Good evening, everyone. I'm surprised that all the discussions are centered around sports when we talk about young people. And we are talking about feeding ourselves as a nation. Where do we have the energy? Is it the old ones? Boys and girls. We are old. So if we talk about feeding ourselves as a nation, if you talk about improving private sector in terms of investment, today, if you have a garden and you want to employ young people, you will not get them. That's why I wanted to ask the question from the Songhai program. What are you doing to follow up on your students who have graduated from your institution in terms of their employment and engagement and connecting them with the private sector? Because nowadays, I know that in the Combo and the Greater Banyan area, there are a lot of gardens. But most of the time, you find that there are non-Gambians who are there. So how do you connect your students with the individual garden owners and those who are doing big investment in gardening and things like that? Many nyinen karo ke kam minna wolom fondinkel min bebe diamola jang ibe sport ko le foka anun ko ngam fambalunde ase banko banku diwol ndol ko total en tolta seno kala no ko tenke nsembo mumuneti fondinkel mbeka wolefo nko fondinkel lom banko semboti butu nintol man wuli man wakili pour ka do ko ke seno bundalla mbebe sports school fola mbe mbam fambalunde la nyaadile abe kolyala na buntu ko betarla bantale de so ton sen hakiloto mbe min fana fo kan wala minti ko ni aji be gadin tiol siata jam mo jamale gadinol soto bar ni tata je ibuka gambe dingol taraje do ko wala tinan lafta Songhai program o nyinen kala e ka fondinkel mun karandi senola karola foy ka mun ferele ke pour ke ni mol chokindi nyola min yalon ko ganilos ni e kombo jabi jibe bam bi gadin jamale bije bari fondinkel le ñina mun nañ ni karoti ala baraka.
Yeah, and thank you very much. When karo kumata bakile mbe obula ning impareta then be the GSI coordinator bijana te ba jabila. But just 2 questions. the illegal migration and whether the programs are adequate enough. No. I think I'll give you a direct answer. No, we understand that the programs that we are doing are not adequate enough. They have filled up a gap and they are very responsive to the issues of young people. But yes, we should be able to do more. Like someone said with the graduate program, can we get more young people? Every program you see, there is always room for improvement. But like I said, some of this thing comes with cost. And there is a lot of competing priorities here. But one thing I also want us to understand, don't look at the response of government to the issues of young people from only what is happening at the Ministry of Youth and Sports. There is a lot more happening in other sectors. Today, the investment that the government is doing in higher education is targeting young people. They are the ones that the University of the Gambia is built for. USET is built for them. All the TVET centers that the government is investing in, from Tujarang to Kanilai to Wasu to Basse, are all for young people. And that is meant to ensure that young people go there and skills and be able to work and take care of themselves and take care of their families. There is some investment in agriculture. It is also for young people because the labor force in agriculture is actually dominated by young people. So these are things that happen around that you might not see or relate to us, but it affects our sector. It affects young people of this country. But as a ministry, these programs are some of those that we are doing, and hopefully we should be able to expand, not even hopefully, we are supposed to be expanding on more, but that's why we are also not 100% dependent on government funding. We are reaching out to partners, to the UN system, to other embassies to be able to support, be able to scale up those programs. But I also believe that all of us as a country must also be able to face the reality and tell our young people that they also must be ready to face the realities. There's nothing easy or nothing comes easy. Each one of us here started somewhere. And it wasn't easy. It was very difficult. But we hold on, build our education, and so we went to university, build on ourselves, and become who we are. The same thing, if you are in the technical field, you must be ready to take your time, learn your skills, and graduate with good skills, and be able to work and build up. What we are facing is a population of young people that are in a hurry to be economically empowered. And it's not going to be that hasty. I know some of these conversations are difficult, but let's take it, for instance. In the back way, you see 12-year-old, 15, 16-year-old. What does that young person have to worry about economic hardship? If you are 15 or you are 12, you're supposed to be under the care of your parents. You're not supposed to worry about you taking care of your parents. So if you embark on the journey, what exactly is the person saying? These are things that we also look at. Look at our sectors today. Look at the informal sector, the construction sector. Right now, if you're looking for laborers, it's a problem. They even have to go and bring people from outside to come and work here. And they make some money. Where are our Gambian young people? Why are they not able to take up those jobs? And I'm not saying if you graduate from grade 12 or you finish university, you're supposed to go and be a laborer. I'm not saying that. But if you did not go to school, or you did not have even grade 9, if you don't want to do that kind of job, what else are you supposed to do? So these are things that we also must be able to have the frank conversations and tell our young people that there is something that they can do in this country, but they must be able to start somewhere. And I don't like repeating, but I know my story is the same with others. And I used to say that. I said I used to do craft and sell at the Senegambia craft market to pay school fees. I even did taxi driving to be able to survive. But today I'm a minister. I was not expecting it at that time when I was doing it, but I know that I have to do something to be able to survive. Didn't I see the back where I saw it? All of these young people sitting here, all of you that are sitting here, all of us have seen it. But we decided to do our best until when the opportunity comes and we go. So let's tell our young people that let us develop ourselves in the education sector or in the skill set. And when you have a job, take it serious. And I'm sure we all know that today if you employ a Gambian, sometimes you struggle with him because he will come to work at 9 or he will come to 2 days and disappear for 1 day, and you'll have to beg him to come and work for you, even though you have already paid him. These are realities that we must be able to tell people also so that we can look at it from both sides, okay? Don't just put it on government alone. We know that we need to do more, but our young people also need to be able to face the realities and do the right thing. Last one is about the coach's contract, and that's, by the way, that's the president of the Gambia Sport Journalists Association, Mr. Omar Jaju. Good to see you here. He said, how was the coach's contract renewed? Now, the coach's contract was renewed based on recommendations. The announcement was done, and I think it clearly stated that it was in consultation with the Gambia Football Federation. They are the ones that the coach report to. Our responsibility is to hire and pay. But the one that the coach is answerable to is the Gambia Football Federation. And their assessment of him is that he has done well and he deserves to be given an extension of a contract. And we agreed with them because we have also seen, what he has been doing so far. And we believe that reasonably, the numbers in terms of statistics might not be good comparatively, but it's a new team that he's building, and we think we can be able to give him additional time to be able to build a better team and be able to answer. If he doesn't qualify for AFCON, that's a contractual issue, and yes, we've definitely factored the issue of qualification for AFCON. As one of the requirements that he should be able to fulfill as part of his checklist, if I may put it that way. He has a checklist, and one of the conditions is qualification for AFCON. The sport bill, last one. Now, the sport bill is unfortunately delayed more than we expected, but we are now at the final stage. Cabinet has given its approval to it with amendments, and as required, amendments from Cabinet is supposed to go back to the AG chambers for input, to input the Cabinet comment, then it goes to National Assembly. So our target was really to have submitted it in this current sitting, upcoming sitting of the National Assembly, but that didn't happen. But we are hopeful or believe that in the final next sitting of National Assembly before the end of the year, it will definitely go to National Assembly and approved and then assented to by the President. So before end of this year, inshallah, we will have both the youth bill and the sport bill passed, because I don't see any reason why National Assembly would reject it. So we are hopeful that it will pass. The last one, I will leave Mr. Baisen, the coordinator of GSI, to answer that. Thank you.
All right, good evening. Auntie, I'll just answer the first part, all right? It's rather unfortunate that we are not producing enough. I mean, we have a capacity of 80 beds, 40 male and 40 female. I'll just give you an example. We are not training employees, we're training entrepreneurs. I mean, we graduated 47 rather, January, and 27 didn't want to work for anybody. So you just have about 20 young people that are willing to take up a job. And that job they're going to take up is just a temporal basis. Over time, they will go back and get started. And it's an area that we can improve on as a country. As you said, everybody here is talking about sport, and I think it was manifested in our nationwide tour earlier this year. All the corners of this country, they only worry about sport, when definitely, I mean, we need to do more about putting food on the table. This afternoon, today, my own cousin texted me looking for an employee. It's rather unfortunate, but I mean, I think together with some of the partners, thank you, UNDP, and I hope we can expand. We have the idea of having mini Songhais around the country, but unfortunately, we are stalled. We're still in North Banks, but still with limited access, as I said, 80 beds. Currently, we have additional 32 beds that are under construction. So come 2027, we'll have additional 32 beds on top of the 80. And we also have a sister organization in the corner in Farafenya, also Balingo. But I think as a country, we still could do better in terms of producing what we eat. Yeah, it's a big challenge. Every day or every week, I get a call all over looking for employees, and we cannot. I hope I answer as much as I can.
Yes, thank you. So we will take a final round of questions, but only one question each. 3 questions, 1 question each. Honorable Minister will answer, and we go for the closing. Honorable Minister. Thank you.
My name is Janke Sise, The Point newspaper. My question is, I
My question is on the budget spent on the renovation of the Independence Stadium. I understand that the initial under-budgeted amount is 100% government. It's 100% government. So the other part, is it also 100% government, and how much it's spent?
Good evening, everyone. I have a question to the Ministry of Youth and Sports. I'm Isatu Conte on behalf of Jara News TV. So my question and suggestion to the ministry, what is the Ministry of Youth and Sport doing to help and support more youth participation? My suggestion to this, I think the government should also introduce skills from nursery school, which can increase more youth participation in the country, whereas when they introduce skills in nursery school, people will be able to learn and understand life after school, what their careers will carry. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum salam.
My name is Mohammed Jabi, a student at Inside Training Center. My question is, I would like to speak on our native language. There is no specific budget for the national team. So if there is no specific budget, do you expect us to compete with other countries? Budget so the national team. Akasoto warol ko ng kamoy na buwesol kasi strike kuela match bonus oli mukasoto. And I believe wakamodol for discourage them kana play Gambia. So do you expect us to compete with other countries? A specific budget so the national team. Yeah? Can we compete with those people?
Thank you. I'm sorry, I would have to probably get the one from Isidro. I missed that. But the one from Ms. Janke about the stadium funding, yes, I mean, it's still the same. The stadium renovation is 100% funded by the government of the Gambia. No other funding apart from government funding. And as it is, we are at $375 million. That is what it has been spent or will be spent so far. So that's the budget. It doesn't mean that that's what has gone there already. But by the time the work ends, that is what is anticipated, because payments are done in phases upon completion of milestones, and you pay. But it will be at a total of $375 million. Mohammed, I said I'll get back to you. The specific, why, if you don't have a specific budget for the national team, yes, no, I said that. But it doesn't mean that we don't have a budget for sports. What I said is we have one basket fund for sports. And we release it based on needs, based on requests, and based on the activities that we have. Because you cannot do that because you have so many associations, not just football. You have all the other associations that you know about, and each one of them will have a team. And if you said you have for the national team alone, what about if basketball comes up? What about if volleyball comes up? But you cannot have a budget for each of those. So we have one basket fund that government is providing, and when requests come, we plan it based on that. And that's where also we are paying for some of the infrastructure work that we're doing. But the reality is there has been a lot of investment in the national team lately from government side. And I always say this, yes, you can have good players, you can have a good coach, but if the money is not there, the team cannot do much. So government funding is a great contributor towards Gambia qualifying for AFCON for the first time and for the second time. Government funding is why our athletics are doing what they're doing today with Genabas and others. And government funding does a lot in terms of all the other associations. So there is money for sports. We just need more. And all of us, myself including, do advocate for more funding. And the people are here, the Minister of the Civil Service, the Chief of Staff is here, the Secretary General is here. They're hearing you. So hopefully they will be able to add their voices for us to get more money, all right? I said, sorry, I'm sorry, I'll have to get your question. What was Ilan Kara women in the phone? Okay. All right, that's fine. Yeah, so you look at it this way. There is a new shift altogether in terms of skills development for young people. It is not in the high schools necessarily, because that's secondary. But if you look at the Ministry of Higher Education, Research and Technology in terms of investments in the USET, for instance, the transformation of GTTI into University of Science and Technology is to be able to respond to the current realities of our time, and not just to stick to the old way of learning skills, but to learn skills that are modern, that are in line with the university. That's why GTTI is transformed to USET. But also, there is work going on for the construction of a fishing center in Tujareng, and we're doing the same thing in Wasu for the rice agricultural, and all of those stuff. The reason is because we understand that not everybody wants to be a mechanic or a carpenter, but we have other resources where we need to train our young people to have skills to be able to make use of those areas. And that is the reason why all of these skill centers are coming. If you go to Kanilai today, we have a new center for technology and science. And all of that is to be able to respond to the issues of the young people. So there are efforts being done to be able to respond to the issues of young people by the Ministry of Higher Education. Under our ministry, we have two. Mr. Sen just explained the training that we do at GSI, which is specifically 12 months training for young people. Minimum 50 young people annually is what we take. And their accommodation, feeding, and the training equipments are provided for by government. They don't pay. In addition, they're giving a monthly stipend, even though they're based there for the 12 months. And you can imagine what it means to accommodate and feed 50 people or 70 people for 12 months. But in the PIA, which is at the Bakau Center, there are different skills that have been taught there. And you saw the young guy here who is a carpenter. You saw the welderman. You saw the one doing the seats, the sofas for the houses. All of that is skills training. So there are efforts, but yeah, always we need to do more. But also we want young people to take advantage of this and learn skills and not be in a hurry. Just learn, take time, learn skills, master them properly. And then when you do work, people will be satisfied. They'll come back to you and you do it. But you do it haphazardly, nobody comes back. That's the problem.
1 minute.
All right, so I think I've talked too much. So I want to leave my peers to do the final remark on behalf of the minister.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. What a great job. I'm so proud to work with you. And I want to thank all of you for your attention and for being here. The message to all of us is, as responsible citizens of this country, I want all of us to consider ourselves as a stakeholder when we talk about empowering our youth and also helping our youth to develop, to grow and develop. There are so many social issues that are occurring in our societies, in our communities now. That's why everybody in this country should see yourself as a major stakeholder in empowering our young people and give them the necessary tools that they would need to compete, not only in the Gambia, but to compete globally. We are not preparing our young people just for Gambia. We are preparing our young people to compete with the international community. And to do that, it's not just sending you to a skills training center. When you go there, you have to make sure that you get the best out of the programs. And that is what is lacking here. Honorable Minister, I'm glad you mentioned that the problem with our young people is rush, the patience. People don't want to exercise patience. The Ministry of Youth and Sports, we still have confidence in our young people. We trust you. You know you are very ambitious and you are hardworking. We have good kids in this country. Our young boys and girls are fine people. We want to be there for you. We will give you all the necessary support. This new ministry, this Ministry of Youth and Sports, is very concerned when it comes to the development of our young people. We want to reach out to you. That is why we went all over the country to have a town hall meeting, to engage, to dialogue with our young people, to listen to you, to know what are your challenges and your concerns. And we had you well and clear. And we are doing all of what we can in partner with the government to come to your doorsteps, to make sure that this country still remains the best country, the most livable country in Africa. And Gambia, we can still do that. Honorable Minister, I thank you for giving us this opportunity. Although there are certain key achievements intervention side that we are missing in the documentary. That I would want to say here. We have so many success stories, and the ministry is also coming up with a documentary. We have a young guy who was a qualified teacher who decided he doesn't want to do teaching, he wants to go and do farming. He's in Berending. Last year alone, he sold over 200 rams, a young man, and he has employed over 15 people. We have another success story in Mansa Kunda. We have a military guy who spent 16 years in the military. He decided to come back, and he's been supported. He has employed more than 15, 20 people. We have a young guy who has a welding workshop in Kerawan, who is proud to say that he has employed 10 young Gambians.
Thank you.
So if all these people are contributing, we can say Gambia, we are on the right track. And we should thank our leaders who are here today, and also His Excellency President for giving us the opportunity to serve you. I am so proud that, SG, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to work with the young people. I would not have been happy to end my career in civil service if I don't get the opportunity to work with the young people. And I thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. All the achievements we appreciate. Youth issues are cross-cutting. And our investments on young people are not only within the domain of the Ministry of Youth and Sports. In higher education, the scholarships we provide and the universities we've built. In agriculture, the Giraffe Project and the Roots Project, helping young people in the livestock and agriculture. In tourism, the creative industries, the multi-million-dollar investments done there with support from the World Bank and the EU and also the UNDP to support young people. So they are cross-cutting. So that brings us to the end. I'd like to thank in particular the ministers present today, Minister of Public Service, Digital Economy, Head of the Civil Service present here today, Chief of Staff, Deputy Chief of Staff, Director of Press, members of the Diplomatic Corps, the French Ambassador, the Turkish Ambassador, representative from Guinea-Bissau, rep from Senegal, the UNDP country representative, the UN country rep, my friend, representative from the Embassy of China. Senior civil servants, our partners, Asata Motors, Q Group, Comium, but also Bell Water Bottling, and everyone who attended this premiere of the Mansa Kunda and the launch of the Euroa documentary series. Our partners, the media, you are the conduit between the public and the government. We thank you for your support and your partnership, which is very critical to the consolidation of our democracy. And I thank all those Gambians at home watching us, both in the Gambia, also in the diaspora, the entire team of the Ministry of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services, under the leadership of DPS, Kodu, Department of Information Services, Isa Davis, thank you for this. This is excellent. And keep up the good work. My advisor, thank you very much for your support. Haruna and the entire technical team, GRTS, and our partners, Star TV, QTV, GTTV, VOD, all those media houses that are supporting us, simulcasting this broadcast, making sure that every Gambian is watching this. I thank you all for your support. Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, keep up the good job you and your team. We are proud of you. Thank you. Look at that 11.